I was instantly excited because I am such a fan of Tony. He's got one of the best flows. He's awkward because he does so many different styles. He's so fluid. He does all this different training type of regimens, but that helps him. He's one of the most intelligent fighters who doesn't have a fundamental style. It's not like he's got a Thai style. He doesn't just have a boxing style. He's a very unique grappler. You never know what to expect. This fight is one of those fights where Justin has to be present. Not thinking about, hey, our game plan is the key to the success. No, you have to be open and aware at all times and in that cage.
Hello. Before we begin this segment, let's take a listen to Daddy Bugatti. Tony Ferguson always gets hit. He engages in order to create something in the space when he or his opponent disengages. This is when he throws shots which are off rhythm from the exchange. Justin was able to counter him clean in the space and sit down on his shots. Usually, Tony's opponents wilt, but this time, he broke. Justin punished him so often when they disengaged that Tony started to hesitate, and you can see him thinking where he would usually flow. This performance reminds me of when Cody Garbrandt was expected to brawl Dominic Cruz, but maintained perfect composure, allowing him to see and land shots on a very unorthodox fighter. Truly incredible and something I did not expect from him at all. Daddy Bugatti highlighted some very important reasons as to why Tony Ferguson had so much trouble getting into flow. How many times did you see Tony spin this fight, land elbows, do something weird that worked, although that was amazing. Tony Ferguson is an amazing fighter. He's just so weird and hard to gauge. His flow is primarily predicated on you having a hard time gauging him, constantly catching his opponents by surprise. He's a very difficult to prepare for fighter, but with that surprising and awkward arsenal, he also has a lot of technical errors. Tony Ferguson gets hit a lot as a result, but when you pair his durability with that veil of constant confusion he places over his opponents, it's no wonder he's thrived as a monster in the division. But Justin Gaethje presented a very difficult problem. Present to the moment, he wasn't caught off guard by what Tony Ferguson was doing. Instead, he faced it, then addressed it with simplicity. For every flashy, high-skill move, every complicated move, there is always a simple answer that can solve it. Although, getting the nerves, the timing, not being caught off guard and sticking to your tools when presented flesh, that's what makes the simple answer so very difficult. Watch here how Tony Ferguson actually tried one of his signature spinning elbows off a punch. He does this all the time, but it did not work here. Tony Ferguson tried to catch him, but with a slip. Justin comes back, straight blasting Tony Ferguson with one of his powerful lead hooks. It did not matter which Justin Gaethje chose to hit him. The force he generated with his punch would smash Tony Ferguson off his own footing, off his own momentum, stifling his ability to complete the technique. I need to buy one of Trevor Woodman's DVDs. I've heard Dwayne Ludwig and him have a program where they talk about different ranges. Gaethje has clearly become a student internalizing these understandings. Here, Justin Gaethje clearly has a very keen feel for range and angles. Thus, watch this. Justin not only steps back, but out to an angle. It's a diagonal to the outside of Tony's strike. Thus, like a matador, Justin has Tony lunge into empty space. Justin Gaethje went from being a juggernaut to this. Gaethje's insane level of improvement is definitely a testament to his work ethic. As a result, Tony Ferguson was once again instantly stuffed. Again, he couldn't break into something weird simply because he was blasted with force, blasted off footing. Justin wasn't untouchable this fight, it's just with cleaner boxing. If he did not avoid the force, he could roll with it, and when he connected, it was just much harder. Thus, instantly, Tony Ferguson was stuffed where he would have been creative instead. He was blasted out of the exchanges. It didn't even matter where Justin hit him, swatting straight punches with overhands, then slipping inside. The moment Justin connected anywhere, even to the body, the fight again would reset at a distance. Boom. That is some terrifying power he has. Watch Tony Ferguson even trying to shoulder roll Gaethje's strike. He's being straight blasted with force. The fight resets again at range. Justin Gaethje is straight up terrifying. With the head movement and footwork, he could have just waited for Tony to extend, then avoid or sometimes even need a strike, then come back with enough force to just blast him off his footing. Justin Gaethje clearly had better boxing, but beyond that, the power difference was just massive. If power or striking in general comes from the feet and hips, you are going to have a very difficult time returning with anything when you keep getting your feet destabilized with straight up power. I do not know how Tony Ferguson kept taking this. But this is also why Tony Ferguson could not get into a rhythm, why he couldn't get loose and just enter his flow. With skill and power, a simpler response would consistently blast Tony Ferguson out of his windows to flow. Think of it this way. Good luck playing the guitar when someone keeps kicking it out of your hands. That's relatively analogous to what we saw in this fight. Tony Ferguson is incredible, and his reaction to all of it tells me he will come back better because I know it stings. For someone as competitive as Tony Ferguson, it has to sting. Mad love. I'll always be a fan. Thank you, Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson, for the privilege to watch. If you like more from me, please subscribe and hit the notifications. Thank you if you did. It truly does mean a lot to me. Thank you. Smash like button if you enjoyed. It's good karma, and until next time, peace.